it's going to take us right into the Katlyn Chookagian and Viviane Araujo fight. Now, this is an interesting fight to have on the main card. I'm trying my absolute best to be respectful in that sense, because I think that for how much I've seen this card shake up, it's just surprising to see that this one moves into, that, fourth or third fight of a pay-per-view card of this caliber. But I think that's what they're trying to do, right? This is where you have that perfect fight that's trying to promote two fighters that have a chance at a title shot, where they need new faces. Katlyn Chookagian absolutely got destroyed by Jessica Andrade. Now, the fact of the matter is Jessica Andrade is a phenomenal fighter. She's a champion level fighter, not championship, like she's a champion. So for me, Katlyn Chookagian had a really nice awakening in that fight to know that this is what it feels like to fight the championship level fighters. She lost to Valentina Shevchenko already. This was a great fight for her to be able to see what the next step looks like, because the Antonina Shevchenko fight, we've talked about it enough, exploited that takedown defense of Antonina's at the time, was able to utilize some of her new skills as a takedown artist, if you will. But now it's time to put it all together. I think Viviane Araujo is a fighter that's going to obviously have a strike, like a length disadvantage here, but if she's able to get past those kicks of Katlyn Chookagian's and maybe those pot shot type jabs and the stick and moves, she's going to have a lot of success on the feet. I think that she's the better striker, at least from a hands perspective, accuracy, power, things like that. And, it's a tough fight for Katlyn Chookagian, only because I think that she's struggled with the powerful Brazilian style, strikers that are able to push forward. Now, the differences with Andrade and Viviane Araujo is I think that there's a great grappling factor with Andrade. I don't think Viviane Araujo has that level of grappling. And the big thing for me is, you look at the Cynthia Calvillo fight, Katlyn Chookagian is going to come into this fight as a very confident striker. I think that she was able to really embarrass Calvillo in certain areas of the striking department, because she was always first. And I think that when you're first and you're showing that an opponent's getting hit before throwing, that's probably one of those things that stand out to a fighter watching themselves again, right? If I'm in a fight, or if I'm even just sparring and I'm looking back the tape and I'm noticing that the guy's always first, I'm slow, or I'm not thinking quick enough, or I'm not firing fast enough. So that's a disheartening factor as a striking specialist. And I think for Katlyn Chookagian, it's the opposite. She's noticing that, especially against smaller fighters, that if she times it well, she's able to get off first. This is a great fight for her to use leg kicks and body kicks. I think that it's the perfect way to slow down an Araujo who's going to be trying to lean in, throw big power shots. That's where we've seen her have a lot of success. DC was absolutely raving about her in her previous fights, and I think she deserves it, right? The big thing for me is that she's shown all around ability so far. I think Katlyn Chookagian's gonna be one of her toughest fights, but great counter hooks that complement something like 64% takedown accuracy and 94% takedown defense. So for me, when I'm looking at the types of fighters that Araujo's fought, but also the types of skills that she's bringing to the table, I think Katlyn Chookagian's stick and move style, use the footwork, stay bouncing on your feet, use the kicks to slow her down and keep her at bay. Because I think that if she gets into boxing range, there's just too many things that Araujo seems to be able to do well that could pose problems for Katlyn Chookagian. Now, that's where I can still see her being somewhat of a favorite, or if this is a pick'em, I think this fight should be a pick'em, because Katlyn Chookagian, for me, can't have enough success on the feet from her hands and her kicks. But if the kicks start landing, it's going to open up the feet. It's going to open up the hands a lot more, and it's going to frustrate Araujo, who might start turning into a much more indisciplined fighter, trying to throw big bombs, which I think Chookagian has the sense to kind of deal with as a striker. So I'm excited for that side of the fight. If it goes to the ground, I'd be very, very surprised. And if it's Katlyn Chookagian who takes it to the ground, I mean, that's an even bigger surprise, because it just goes to show that how much more confidence she has in her all-around game. And again, 94% takedown defense, not scared. And I think that on the flip side, if you see that Araujo can get past those kicks and isn't really feeling much of the power from Katlyn's side, this could be a long night for Katlyn Chookagian. So I'm leaning towards a pick'em. Let's take a quick look at these stats here, or I should say lines. And yeah, I mean, wow, I'm a little surprised that Katlyn Chookagian opened up a -160 favorite. Plus 140 for Araujo as a dog, but clearly that line is moving in the right direction. You got a -135, -140 for Chookagian, plus 110, plus 115 for Araujo. To be quite honest, this would be one of those Neil Magny types of picks for me. I think I would consider backing Araujo as a betting favorite for me. I just think that she has the opportunities here and the skills to really upset Chookagian in this case. But again, We saw Chookagian do really, really well against a girl like Cynthia Calvillo, who's proven to have an all-around game as well. So, don't kill me if I'm wrong on that one. If you ate on the Neil Magny one, you can consider it repayment for that. But this is a fight where I would say from a betting stance, I'm leaning towards an Araujo as an underdog, and I would not be surprised if this line actually moves into the negatives where they actually start becoming more of a pick'em. I'm excited for that reason, because I think if there's one thing to like about the lines, even if you're not a betting person, the movement should create excitement because it's allowing you to gauge who should a favorite be and who should an underdog be. And if you're a person that just enjoys rooting for a dog, that's a great way to kind of pick the person who you think should be the dog if you're not so familiar with the fighter. So this is a great fight to do that for.